Something's upset. Oh well. All right, looks like we are live. Looks like things are working. Okay. Let's go post out. All right. Okay. So let's get started here. So where do we want to go first here? So I need to do a general refactor of this. So this dialogue, so we just need a straight integration dialogue, not Trello integration dialogue here. How do we want to do this? We probably want to... Do we want to create another one? I almost don't want to create a full another one. Actually, let's move all this logic. All this logic. All this logic we should probably throw in. We should probably throw in the blank integration dialogue. What do we... Where is that? Is that a page? I think that's a page. I can't remember where I did that. So Trello callback list login. Trello callback. This isn't it. No. That's not where we had it. Where were we? Blank integration default. Trello integration dialog. Oh, was it a list? Yeah, it's in here. It's in this template right here. This is where we need to add it. What just... Something just unplugged and replugged. Uh-oh. I lost my Home Assistant UI too. Something weird's going on. But audio seems to still be working. Video's still working. So we're gonna keep rolling with that. So hopefully this will be okay. All right. So select integration Trello. So yeah, so there's the select integration. This almost needs to be an entire form rather than just a select. This needs to be its own form. And HX no, it needs to be an HX. Oh, there is going to be an HX post. But we're not going to do anything with that yet. So we need to move that in there because this is gonna slowly build our form here. So we need to target, so we need to add an ID. Main form. Actually, this should be list dialog form. List dialog form. So now our HX target is going to become the list. This is going to be list dialog form. Okay. Cool. So we don't have to change the integrations partial. That's the same. I'm going to rename it though. I'm going to take the opportunity to name it list integrations dialog. That's going to be better. So hopefully when we change the select option, we can swap out the items. Swap out the items in here. Maybe. I don't know if this is gonna work. Because, so, HX target is gonna be the whole form. So on change, we're gonna target the whole form. But the problem is everything inside the form has to update when the selection does. So the question is, will the will that route get all of the selections from this form? What do you got in the docs? HX get, yeah. Makes the same trigger filters. Click control key. Oh, okay. Polling, quest indicator. Targets. Response. HX target attribute. That's what we're doing. Swapping. Morph swap. Algorithm. Idiomorph. Line morph. Morphing swaps. Morphing swaps attempt to merge new content into the existing DOM rather than simply replacing it. Interesting. Okay. View transitions. It's not what we want. HX swap. Synchronization. You want to coordinate requests between two elements. Requests from one element to supersede. No, we don't need HX sync. Don't want CSS transitions. Swap content out of band. No. Parameters. By default, element causes request will include its value if it has one. As with HTML forms, name attribute of the input is used as parameter name and the request the HTMX sends. Additionally, if an element causes a non-get request, the values of all inputs of the nearest enclosing form will be included if the element causes a non-get request. If you wish to include the value of other elements, you can use the hx-include attribute with a CSS selector of all elements you want to include in the request. Okay, that's perfect. That's what we want. So let's add classes to all these. Class equals form inputs. And then, so this is getting a little long. Oh, we need to switch back. Okay. So this is getting a little long here. So let's start doing some of this. Let's wrap some stuff. Okay. And then, so after this, we need to do hx include, and then so dot form inputs. Okay, so now every option we needs to have the include on there so that we end up getting all those values. Okay. So, this needs to go off in its own component. This really needs to be its own component. We need to yank this. We're gonna call this template list dialog form. List dialog form. Okay. So now that we've got the list dialog form here in the templates, so now we need to actually create that file. So let's go up, components, list dialog form HTML. No. So what's in here? What do we got here? Handlers, the Trello integration callback, Trello integration dialog, integrations partial. Let's delete all this. What else? Where were we? So this is last 5. Okay. So we're gonna yank that, go back to 4, paste that here. Oh, we need to define list dialog form. Okay. All right. From here, where do we want to go? Now we've got the horrible nesting problem. We gotta nest our inputs all the way down here. This template's gonna look bad. It just is. It's complex, so it's just gonna look bad. So, what what do we want to say? We want to say if dot integration selected. Else okay, so if how do you actually, if integration not selected, because this is gonna clean up our markup a bit, I think, hopefully. So is there a Trello? Oh, let's use what we got here. Why do we want to? I don't think I want to. I think I want to delete these. I think I want to keep the complexity. I think I want to keep the complexity in the template. Yeah, I think I want that complexity encapsulated there. I just think that's how it is. It's Trello. Okay. And we also want to delete that. We don't want a form within a form. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. I think we need to have it look something like that. So we need the class on this. And then the class on this. Oh. Let me go look. I need to go look at Go templates real quick. Golang templates. Wow, I can't type. Golang templates. We need to know how to string comparison. Good old Stack Overflow. If dot equal. Okay. That's how they. If EQ. Yeah, I thought so. I thought so. I thought so. So that means, do I have the right? If board's not selected. Oh, okay. So that's how to do. What if it's null? What if it's null? What do I do if it's null? Hmm. We're not selected. Disable. Got all sorts of fun state here. How do we want to do this? Previous Trello login, select board, range boards. Well, let's start with this. Actually, we need a little more. We need a little more. Yank that. Okay, all these other selects. Let's go start dropping this. Okay, so there's HX include. I need to have an HX get in here. No, that's not the right one. Partial, yeah. Partial / list dialog / nope, that's it. What's this last line? This is, instead of this needs to be HX include. That's where that was. Okay. Okay. Feel like I'm forgetting something here. Oh, yeah, the HX target. HTMX. So HX get, so we get the partials. We get the target should be list. That should be the target. Here we go. And then we get all the form inputs, round up all the form inputs and send them through. Okay. Have previous Trello login. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So now what I don't know. So now I need to go to the integrations partial. This is where things get a little interesting because the list, the list dialog form integrations partial.go. So 4 and 5. Okay, perfect. See, I don't think this is gonna be Trello exclusive anymore. This is a very complex. Yeah, we get our integration ID because we're gonna have to send that over. We're gonna have to put Trello things. Trello things in there. Okay. We will need that. That I will need. But this I will not need. This I won't need. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Trello. So this is just... What did we call it? List dialogue form? List dialogue form. List dialogue form. Okay. List the... Yeah, that. Okay. Let's just see what breaks, okay? Let's just give it a shot. Let's see what happens here. Oh, no, there's still an error. Get integration. There we go. Now we're good. Now we're good. We're gonna stop that. We're gonna restart here. Waiting for messages. Okay, perfect. Is Ngrok running? Ngrok is running. So it says. Let's go over to the browser. Let's go log in. Okay, perfect. J. We're gonna go look at the list, and we seem to have completely screwed up here. What happened? Why? Why? No error. 200. No data. Pretty neat. No error. Look. No error. Aww. Oh, I'm gonna have to delete that. We're gonna blank that out for a second. Yeah. All right. You can restart that now. Okay. And we get the same result. Yep. Same. Not that. That. Same result. Right there. Okay, so the list handler. So this should at least load. This page should at least load just fine. And somehow, some way, it doesn't. List.html. Get list. Okay. So what do we have here? Are we throwing away any errors? No. Get list. Get list. Okay, so let's start log or println printf. There you go. Let's see what. So if I'm gonna refresh the page, so we get that far. We get the ID when we refresh that page. We get the ID properly. Upload image form. We shouldn't need that. Oh, it's in here. There it is. There it is. That's where the problem is. If equal null. They're executing template. Okay. Now, when I refresh that page, angry list dialog form. No such template. List dialog form. Yeah. List HTML. List dialog form. Yeah. We need list dialog. And it's list dialog form.html. Okay. Now we panic. Perfect. Great. What is the source of our panic? Else if not defined. So how do you do an else if then? How do you? Oh, okay, they are separate words. I could have swore they were one word, that this one was weird, and it was one word. Okay, so, we need the integrations partial. No. List dialog. Oh. Gotta add it. List dialog form. Else if, yeah. Is it if else? Yeah, it's else if. No, that was the only place. Okay. So, if that's the only place, then we can go back to here. Try this again. Oh, look at it. It did do something. It didn't do what we wanted it to do, but it did do something. No, I did define that. Okay, so let's. Is that what we need? Do we need the .html? Do we need this? This thing? I don't know. Let's go find out. Yeah, that's what we needed. Weird. Weird, strange. Completely strange. Okay. How do we want to do this? So I think component list dialog form dot okay. Now what? What happens when we error executing template? Okay, it's not good. Error executing template list.html executing app page at list dialog form data can't list. Okay, so we need to I doubt that's gonna fix it, but nope, still error executing template. Okay, so we need to go to list.go, right? Yeah, because when we're going for a single, we supply page data. Where's the page data? List status data. Delete list. No. There we go. This is what we want. The data lists. Can I create anonymous? Oh, I can, but it's kind of a pain in the butt, isn't it? Oh, yeah. No, I don't need it bigger. There we go. Now, type is that DB processed image. So okay, so page data. So data needs to be thank you. There we go. All right. Cool. That should be fine. Okay. I want to at least get this working before we do some other stuff tonight. There we go. It's gonna get upset. I'm gonna hit. Oh no, it compiled. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. Nope. 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 What was the wrong? What was the wrong? What was the wrong? Data.id can't evaluate field. Oh yeah. This is not there. It's actually in the list list.html. Hey. All right. That should satisfy. Oh. Can you evaluate field? Ooh. ID in type interface? What? Data. Where am I? Oh, list. There we go. There we go. There we go. That was the last. That was the last place. Okay, now we're back to the same error we had before, at least, I guess. What is the real error? Superfluous response rate header call handlers get list go. Okay. What are we thinking here? Where are we at here? What line? It says 99. Superfluous response right header call. Executing app page at list. Can't evaluate and type interface. No. Okay. We're gonna restart this just to be sure. Hey, look at that. Okay, and then we select Trello and it completely breaks. Perfect. It completely breaks in the way that's different than before. So we're on the right track. So we can do this. What was the call that was made here? Whoa. Yeah, that. Okay. The dialogue HTML. This is not necessary anymore. Yeah, we want to delete that. We want this now. Okay, so when we is it simpler than that? Is it just triggering on Ah. There we go. Okay. Oh, I wasn't showing it. So what I did here, I changed the Ajax post to be this, because I have a suspicion that when I select something in the list, it's actually reloading the whole form somehow. So we'll find out, I guess. Nope. Something else is wrong. Okay, so we're gonna do some quick notes here. Okay. All right. So, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna try my hand. So now we're gonna move on to a different segment. I'm gonna try my hand at a bone stock React video. So we'll see how this goes. I found an interesting article that I wanted to read, and we'll just see what happens here. See if this is any good. If it's good, it may end up on YouTube. If it's not, then it'll stay here. So, let's pause that real quick. Okay. And let's do a marker. Can I your so let's go so we can marker. You are never taught how to build quality software. Start. What? Marker? What do you mean? To build quality software. An error occurred. Okay, cool. Let's try it here. You. Why don't I copy and paste? That might actually work. Something went wrong. Okay. Well, whenever it starts, it starts. All right. So, let's go to the browser. You are never taught how to build quality software. By Florian Bellman. Have you ever been in on a software project that is missing vital quality assurance measures? Yep, I think I have. You are not alone. This happens to a mind-blowing amount of companies and projects, even if they know that there's this thing called QA and we should do it. All efforts typically result in the big QA sprint right before the release. Stressful times that only make the software barely work. All of this chaos repeats in the next cycle, of course. No improvements. Yeah, that's fair. This happens. This has happened to me. Basically, any big software deploy, there's a whole sprint of devs testing. I have never been on a team with an actual QA or with a like QA team to go pass things off to. Usually it's just us testing internally, and then we do a UAT session with the users, and then from there, the users will identify any fixes that we need to make, and then from there, we will just deploy the software. And if it has bugs in it, we remediate the bugs, but it's really on the UAT testers at that point and the departments on whether or not there are issues with the software. We already did all of our testing that we could think of: unit, integration, manual, all that. They didn't. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. So what uni teaches you. The thing is, if you study computer science, you don't learn how to ensure quality standards in software. Most of the time is spent on algorithmic, how a computer works, the history of some languages, concepts, etc. In addition, at least in my studies, there was a semester about project management approaches and Scrum, all of which is great, but QA is missing completely. Okay, I had an additional step here in university, and that was around, we did design patterns, and that was extremely valuable. There was some unit testing involved in the project, not the project management, but there was some software engineering classes as well, and that's where we did some of our testing. I remember one of my professors said, "When you write bugs, people die." People could die. It's like, that's really intense, man. I mean, most of us are writing websites with React and JavaScript. None of us are going to be programming a fighter jet or anything like that. But I mean, that's where he came from. So, but anyway, neglecting QA is a shame because 90% plus of all students work in a company context after they finish their degree. It will be necessary to deliver software without bugs on time. Okay. I'm not sure if I agree with that, but we'll see. How companies deliver barely on time. I've seen it countless times. QA standards and measures are the ones to be cut out of projects because of budget reasons first. It's oftentimes planned during the end of the project. But if development takes longer, which it often does, or scope creep comes in, which always happens, there's not enough time for QA anymore. We end up with an absolute minimum of unstructured testing and ship a digital house of cards with brittle walls. Okay. Release, testing. Yeah, that does track. That's how it goes as we're adding on. I mean, you test more and more in order to avoid regression tests, unless you can automate all that testing, which is the ideal. You want to automate all of those tests. So, in some companies or teams, there's a certain QA standard. There are certain QA standards in place. Commonly, it's a senior member of a team who is enforcing them for the rest of the group. Most likely, they learned the hard way that without QA, everything will just become so much harder along the way. Unfortunately, even having standards in place is not enough. It happens time and again that teams simply write tests to satisfy project management metrics. I've never had to do this. I guess it's just the fact that I work in a smaller company, but I've never had a project manager demand that I write tests for certain use cases. I mean, it probably should happen. I guess that would probably be the ideal, that they define the acceptance criteria, but I get what he's saying. You end up gaming the system. You end up making the tests pass, even if it isn't a great experience for the user. How to get out of the hamster wheel. It took me years to build the experience and confidence to speak up about missing QA measures in projects. Arguing with managers, living through crunch time around releases, dealing with failing production systems, and looking for missing monitoring, it's not fun. The situations are similar for other improvements of the code base or project which are not directly visible to managers, like refactorings, for example. Refactoring should happen as tech debt later, or as part of a feature ad. Like you shouldn't be refactoring before right before a release. That's not a good idea. You're trying to get an MVP out the door, or an MVP for a feature out the door. I don't think you should be doing refactoring in the release cadence like he's talking about here. But let's read on. But for QA, it was always particularly difficult because if we didn't implement any measures, we also never learned how to do it properly. I like this. This is funny. This is pretty great. This is exactly what that situation is like. I agree. Only speaking up and raising the discussion again and again will help to find the first steps out of the hamster wheel. Okay, sure, unless your manager actually listens to you. Speak about money. At some point I realized I wasn't using the right arguments either. Ooh, yes, you have to frame things about costs and money. You can't make these arguments about just writing clean, maintainable code. You have to show the people up top, this solves X problem that saves us X money or makes us X amount of money. You can't come with like programming nebulous concepts to management. They won't go for that unless it is a software company that you're working for. But anyway, I digress. Explaining that the software will be more stable or make maintenance much easier is not palpable for someone who doesn't work in the code base themselves. We need to speak about money. As developers, we need to speak about costs of not doing QA. Yeah, I agree. There is cost of not doing QA. The question I ask is, at what point does the cost of not doing QA outweigh the benefit of moving quickly and often more cheaply? Remediating bugs after the fact is often cheaper than doing manual QA, and sometimes even automated QA. I don't like 100% code coverage. I mean, it's a great metric, but it doesn't really tell you anything. So I think this goes both ways. It depends. This is the language of business and managers in general. By now, I always try to frame QA measures with examples like, if we don't do it now, development efforts and therefore also costs will be up 15% in 4 months. Or we need, well, how can you, that's a sort of number right there. That's not fair. That's subjective. It's based on experience, so it's not entirely unfounded, but it's subjective. So we need to implement unit tests for all features, or our release stabilization phases will take longer and longer each time. Directly related to all the features that we build, because we need to test all side effects manually each time. This will result in making less progress each release. Yes, this part is true, and you can try to convey that if you want to stop regression. Well, that's a big thing. Like, do you actually want to invest the time to stop regressions? Because that's expensive. Sometimes if it's an internal tool, like, it doesn't matter if there's a regression. Like, it kind of looks bad on the development team at that point, but who cares if they have a regression? They have to come file another bug report. versus you spend an entire sprint writing tests. I at that at the scale I'm usually at, which is like internal tools and stuff, I don't know if this makes sense. And I mean, at Fang, probably does, but at like the rest of the world, maybe not. In my experience, this switch helps to bring the point home. In the end, your efforts on this will make everyone's lives better. Not everyone knows it yet, though. It can make things more smooth. It definitely can make things more smooth. Spending more time testing will make your releases smoother. Minimal effective dose. To be realistic, it's important not to over-engineer QA measures with a big upfront investment. I mean, it's important to not over-engineer QA measures in general, I think. We shouldn't block process of the project as a whole, and neither will we get the necessary buy-in from all stakeholders with this approach. I suggest always to look for the most vital parts of the application. Normally, there is a certain use case, feature, or something that the whole application is built around. Some core functionality, which must work correctly in order for software to be of value to a customer. Test that. I agree. Test the core functionality. Test the hot paths. Don't test every single little thing. Test the hot paths and test what bugs you get. And then to make sure that you don't have regressions if you want to invest in that. Come up with measures and ways to ensure that they are always working as expected. I like the term minimal effective dose, or MED, the smallest dose that will produce the desired outcome. So, a more medical version of minimal viable product? But in QA, this can be a manual testing plan, automated tests in the pipeline, or something different. It's the right place to start. If the core features are ensured, you can gradually expand stability, i.e. for all new features, you add a unit test. I mean, again, depends. Additionally, think about the sources of information that you can't control, like external APIs or user inputs. Find ways to validate them, as well as these are more obvious places in which your software can crash because of misuse. Iterate and increment, also on QA. Okay. Things I look out for. For each new project that I start or join, I look out for a QA concept. How small it might be, the team should have thought about it. What are we shipping? What do we need to ensure is working? How do we do that? Out of which measures do we deliberately opt out, and why? Okay, this last one I think is fair. Calling out the things with your stakeholders that you're skipping. Like, you could be doing X and we're going to do Y. Like, you could be doing all these things, but you don't have to necessarily. Having a written document about this, plus perhaps a testing plan, is a great foundation on which software can progress. It shows that we as a team thought about how we proceed. Again, thinking in terms of MED. Additionally, I suggest to review the chosen approaches regularly, i.e. once a quarter. When writing new code, I am not using TDD. Cool. I don't think TDD works real well. But I strongly recommend writing tests as you write to the software. Yeah, that's usually good. I like to write tests as I write the software, especially if I'm writing something super complex. I like to write tests for the pieces that I know I won't run later, but I want to know that they run now. And I want to know that I don't break them later. So it's the right moment to shine to write the test. If you write the test as you implement the feature, you have the benefit that your code has to be structured in a way that's actually testable. This is a big thing in C#. In ASP.NET Core and C# in general, there's an issue where it's hard to test things without it's hard to mock things without interfaces on top of them. So often you have to write every service, every class that's a dependency. Everything has to have an interface on top of it. And you find that out for the first time when you're testing your code as you're writing it, usually. So I think it's a good idea to write some tests, testing your hot path as you're writing code, but you don't. I don't think full blown TDD is ever called for. It's really hard. It's just hard, and not usually worth the pain. So writing tests for existing software often reveals that a given code is way too interdependent, or that single responsibility principles have been violated. Through the tests, you described that you understood the desired behavior and made sure everything worked as expected to. It's even a form of code documentation, if you will. Yes, I do think tests can document your code, and I think that's a good thing. Especially if you're a library, tests are a great way to document your code. All right, project benefits. Work hours spent without QA measures, with QA measures, project progress. Sometimes it depends. I haven't experienced this kind of curve. Like maybe it's steeper. I have experienced that, but exponential. Maybe it follows this path until it hits a point and then it starts moving up. But I don't think it's exponential. I don't think that's quite representative of the situation, at least in my experience. But I don't know. When you speak up, people around you realize that you care about the project. Raising discussions around quality and suggesting possible solutions even extends your reach as a developer. That's fair. Saying that you want to avoid bugs and write better software does show people that you care. It can benefit you personally as well as the project. Quality of life for developers and managers will increase. It certainly will be noticed. Only with QA measures can a project grow at a healthy pace. Not necessarily. Okay. Charging projects for the better. Are you ready? Are you already using QA measures in your project, or is everything super brittle? Do you want to expand your developer skills, become one to be known for writing quality software? Start small. Think about the MED in your project, the MED in your project. Take ownership and be the voice in your team to change for the better. Not everyone needs to be a QA ambassador, but you can teach the people around you. The approach is necessary. By leading by example, spark the discussion. I think this last sentence, spark the discussion, this is fair. I think this is right. I think ultimately this all, like everything here, it depends. It really depends. It depends on the size of your team. It depends on, are you a product, or are you a money sink? Are you a money generator in your company? Are you working on internal tools? Are you working on products that your company is selling? All these things have to be taken into account before you decide if the QA measures you're taking are worth it. Sometimes it's not. In the case of smaller companies where people are writing internal tools, kind of like what I do, it's not worth it. It's really not necessarily worth it to have a full-blown QA process and have. And I also think putting metrics on QA can be dangerous, especially things like unit test code coverage. I think that can be abused and gamed, and it won't tell you anything, really. And it turns into this horrible thing of where, like, you just figure out how, like, you can end up deleting tests to make to make the code coverage work out better in your favor, or writing stupid tests to make the code coverage work out better. It doesn't. It's not representative of what exactly you'll be doing in the software, and then testing that at the same time. Like that doesn't represent that. So ultimately I think it depends. I just think it depends. So, all right, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button for more content like this. If you want to see me record these live, I do it on 7. I do coding and this at like 7 p.m. Pacific time. And all right, have a good one. Okay. First bit of React content. I'll have to edit that down and we'll see how it does. So, all right, I'm going to sign off from streaming as well. We'll see you next week, whoever shows up.